Hi guys, welcome back to Underwater Astrology. This week is for the week of March 19th to March 26th, 2024. We are doing the astrology for you guys. We are starting off the week in the critical degree of Sun in Pisces in the 29th degree. This is the week of enlightenment. And what kind of enlightenment do you want to achieve as we go into Aries season with the North Node and Chiron? So we start off the 29th degree, and it's all about colors and crystal healing, rainbows, light refraction, considering many facets of a situation. But by this point, we've done so much Pisces that we're so ready for Aries, and I think by the time we come into 6th degree Aries, the symbol often shows a positive nature that knows how to find ways out of situations by creating creative solutions. Don't become too concerned with one side of issues in the material world, even if you feel boxed in with no way out. I really think it's about understanding that when we go from a water sign, a mutable water sign, to a cardinal fire sign, it's really about understanding that what's been done has been done for these last few years with this Neptune and Pisces transit. Whatever you've gone through with all these retrogrades and whatever you think you've mastered, you're still here to master. And that's what life is about. And when we go from Pisces to Aries, it's a big transition, right? And I think in a lot of ways, Mercury, is moving 8 degrees, so it's moving kind of fast this week. And then Venus is moving 9 degrees. So Venus is also moving fast with Mercury, and they're both in different signs. Mercury's in Aries, Venus is in Pisces. Mars goes into Pisces this week, and it starts off in Aquarius. Jupiter moves 2 degrees, so that will be very important. Saturn stays in 12 degrees Pisces. Uranus stays in 20 degrees Taurus. Yeah, and then Chiron stays in 18 degrees Aries. And I think that it's very important to understand that, I think we'll go into every sign, but I think with Aries, you just have to be careful of projection of the solar, right? Okay, let's move on to Aries rising. For Aries rising, the sun is in Pisces, right? In your 12th house, and then it moves into your first house, right? And I think that it's important to realize that Aries rising, you guys have to be the leader of confidence, but you guys also have to call no BS. I'm going to be real. I think some people are trying to project fear on you guys of where you're going, and you have to be like, it's the universe. You know what I mean? Like, you have to learn how to tune your vision here, and I think that's what is separating you guys, is that Jupiter leap from 14 degrees to 16 degrees, right? So Jupiter goes into, we're not going to even have time to even focus on the sun, because we have to focus on that leap of Jupiter, right? And that really is going to be about, we start off with Jupiter in 14 degrees Taurus, right? And I think it's really about understanding that it's like being self-sufficient, looking after one's own affairs, a sense of at one moment with all forms of life, peaceful coexistence amongst others, beings on different levels of evolution, and the shadows meddling in people's lives, restriction of play, being distracted, building sandcastles that eventually wash away, voyeurism, sunburn, and exposure to weather. For Jupiter in 16 degrees Taurus, it's really about that shift will be trying a new approach, challenging the status quo, bringing in people, revealing the mysteries, you know what I mean? So I almost think, and the shadow side is exaggerated opinion of knowledge, right? And so I really do think, and I really do think this week for for Aries rising, is you guys are going too quick. Like, you guys know the answer, but you guys almost don't want to do the shadow work to reveal the answer. It's like you've known for this time that things are getting dangerous and getting sketchy, but you gotten fearful. Something happened to your communication abilities, and you have all these transits, but sometimes when everyone's looking at you, it can get intense. Sometimes when somebody's looking at you, it can get intense. And I almost think that with all this first house energy, it's like you can't even really say the truth sometimes, because you feel like, it's really about being seen, and that's okay, but I'm just revealing to you this is what's going on with that Neptune in 12th house placement, you know? And you are harvesting this fertility and abundance with this higher spiritual surrendering to love. And I do think that this week it's like wherever you go, it's out of love. But I do think you should start journaling sometimes about the things you're noticing eventually. For Taurus rising, I think this week is really about understanding that, like, okay, everybody's taking a break now. You know, Mercury's slowing down. Eventually, we're pretty much in Mercury's shadow. And, you know, there's a lot of this essence of, you know, Jupiter moving those 2 degrees. And it's really about understanding, okay, like, that Neptune and Pisces in 11th house is really about understanding that, okay, like, people are really going to push you to your limits, you know, in your friendships. Like, people will push you to how higher spiritually you can go, you know? And are you going to start pointing out things you've seen, you know? And I think that it's really important for you to understand that so many people think they know, you know? So many people stand with their ego so tall. And they think they know. But it's when you go into Chiron in the 12th and you look at those aspects of Chiron that you truly win, right? It's not till you go into Chiron. Because some people are using North Node Aries as is all about me. And then they feel empty, right? So don't abandon yourself this week, and definitely get emotional support if you need it. If you feel like people are being narcissistic in your friend group and like you can never really talk, you know. For Gemini rising this week, it's really about understanding that, okay, you guys are feeling clairsentient about something, feeling like a clear sense of knowing. It's called trust. You guys have a clear trust in where your career is going, or even just how you're being seen. You feel very comfortable this week. But again, if you have extra time, definitely go into that Chiron at 18 degrees and try to understand, like, how can I get something cool going? Something cool started, like something exciting, you know? And what does that take out of me to get something exciting going? Like, is it making an art project from a book or listening to a record and making a mood board? Like, can you do something colorful and interactive and visionary with that critical degree in Pisces? And what did you feel in that when we moved into Aries and expressing that constellation shift? And I really do feel like that's when things get exciting, is when you start documenting some of your energies that you've been feeling and you just make a little portfolio. For Cancer rising this week, it's really about understanding, similar to Gemini rising, how can you get something cool going this week? Something cool started, you know? Chiron is, this week is pretty chill, but I do think that when Chiron goes into 18 degrees Aries, which it has been, which is where it is this week, it's really about understanding that, you know, sometimes you will be healing so dramatically, Cancer rising, because you're so empathetic, you know, and I think you're learning from people who are ahead of you in your career and you're aspiring to be them and you're taking some of their personality, and that's really interesting. And I also think that you're also understanding the dignity of how you make your money, you know, and I think you're coming into your power this week. And it's really, don't lose sleep. Really, don't lose sleep over the things that have changed in your life. Just keep moving forward and don't look back. For Leo rising this week, it's really about understanding, you're learning about this ancient divine connection to your relationships, but it's not just one relationship. And that's what Pluto in Aquarius is going to teach Leo rising in many different ways, and especially with this first few degrees, you know? Let's just be more specific. It's not just one relationship. Your life is not just one connection to one person. It's all these different connections that help you be whole and ready to take on the next relationships. It's fun to be dating someone, but do you have a job, Leo rising? Do you have a savings account? This is the week where it is kind of like, okay, let's start looking to the future and being like, can I provide for this person? Am I doing the right things to provide for this person? Or am I just getting my ego in the way of everything because I believe I know everything? Therefore, nothing can enlighten me. Therefore, the relationship is unexciting to other business partnerships because you're so impatient with North Node Aries in the ninth house. And that's your whole Chiron thing, is that you kind of already are picking up on this at times. And you're like working through, I think, those layers of Neptune in the eighth house that are, Aries and Pisces semi-sextile. So it is like when you're working through those layers, it is going to require almost like a guidance counselor to refine some of those shifts in integration, because these shifts are too deep. Eighth house is very deep, right? It's really depth. And I think it's about understanding that sometimes who you were last week to who you are this week is completely different. But instead of like trying to figure out who you were last week, just realize that most of us in this high vibrational community already are working with people who do not bring us back too much in the past, unless it is through healing. And I think that's what it is for you this week, is realizing, can you take other people's opinions, or are you going to be kind of like shortcutting conversations, putting everyone down, losing sleep over it in the future and even in the present moment, just because